Giants have long been the subject of fascination and wonder in human history. Towering over us mere mortals, giants are often portrayed as fierce, powerful creatures with strength and size beyond comprehension. From ancient myths and legends to modern-day movies and literature, giants have captured our imaginations and sparked our curiosity. But just what are giants? Some believe they are the product of genetic mutations, while others think that they are the descendants of ancient gods or extraterrestrial beings. Whatever their origins, giants have left their mark on cultures around the world, from the Norse frost giants to the biblical Goliath. Some tales depict giants as friendly and helpful, like the gentle giant Hagrid from the Harry Potter series, while others paint them as fearsome monsters, just like the fire-breathing giant from Jack and the Beanstalk. And let's not forget our beloved giant of our childhood, the BFG, or the Big Friendly Giant, from Roald Dahl's classical book. So, whether you see them as heroes or villains, friends or foes, giants continue to capture our imaginations and remind us that there's always something larger than life out there to explore. Today, here on History in Minutes, we'll be hovering over possibilities of real-life giants that may have lived in the Great Wild West. The Paiutes. The Paiutes are an indigenous Native American tribe of Nevada and had an oral tradition which they shared with early white settlers about a group of red-haired white giants or barbarians referred to as the Sitica by their ancestors. Their story was recorded by Sarah Winnemucca Hopkins, daughter of Paiute Indian chief, in her 1882 book Life Among the Paiutes, Their Wrongs and Claims. According to the story, these giants were described as being hostile, aggressive, and cannibalistic. The Paiutes recount a great battle that resulted in the giants' extinction at a location now called Lovelock Cave. During the early 20th century, archaeologists discovered numerous artifacts inside the cave, leading to a prolonged excavation and speculation that the Paiute legend was based on actual events. The Paiute legend of the Lovelock Giants and their massacre at Lovelock Cave. In the northern Paiute language, Sitika or Siduka translates to tool eaters. According to legend, these giants wove the fibrous water plant, tool, into rafts in order to escape attacks by the Paiute. The rafts were then used to traverse what remained of Lake Lahotan, a prehistoric lake that once covered a significant portion of northern Nevada during the last ice age. The recurrence of this legend throughout the Americas is peculiar, raising the possibility that it might be an incomplete account of an actual event that occurred in the distant past. In Crónicas de Perú, a record of the 16th century Spanish conquistador Pedro César de León, an ancient Peruvian legend is recounted, detailing the origin of the giants in South America. The legend tells of their arrival by sea in reed rafts, some of the men being so tall that their lower legs were as long as an average-sized man. Could it be that the Peruvian giants and the Sitica were survivors of a colossal cataclysm which sought sanctuary on the American continent? The Paiute story recounts that after years of conflict, all of the tribes in the region united to drive out the Sitica. In their final stand, the remaining red-haired giants sought refuge in a cave, where the Paiutes demanded they come out and fight. However, the giants refused. The coalition of tribes proceeded to launch arrows at them and set a large fire at the mouth of the cave. A few giants emerged, only to be met with a barrage of arrows, while the remainder were either burned or suffocated by smoke. Over time, the entrance to the cave collapsed, leaving it accessible only to bats and cut off from human contact.
We're a different culture that was here that was probably eradicated at that time.
Lovelock Cave in Nevada. Located 20 miles south of present-day Lovelock, Nevada, Lovelock Cave, also known as Bat Cave, Horseshoe Cave, Sunset Guano Cave, and Indian Cave, is an ancient cave that existed before human settlement on the continent. During prehistoric times, the cave lay underneath Lake Lahontan. In 1886, a mining engineer named John T. Reed, who resided in Lovelock, was informed of the Paiute legend and was taken to the site by local Indians to prove its existence. However, Reed was unable to commence an archaeological excavation immediately. Nonetheless, two miners, James Hart and David Pugh, realized the significance of guano as an ingredient in gunpowder and founded a company to begin extracting it in 1911. Using a pick and shovel with little concern for the artifacts, they stripped a layer of guano from the cave measuring around 3 to 6 feet deep and shipped approximately 250 tons of it to the Hawaiian Fertilizer Company in San Francisco. It is likely that any artifacts that may have been found were overlooked or misplaced. Following the removal of the upper layer of guano, curious items began to emerge, prompting a formal excavation by the University of California in 1912 and another in 1924. Reports from the excavations indicated that thousands of artifacts were discovered, with some being particularly extraordinary. Archaeological Explorations in Lovelock Cave. Alfred Kroeber, the founder of the University of California Anthropology Department, was contacted by Hart and Pugh when they first reported finding prehistoric artifacts. This led to the first official archaeological excavation of the site in 1912, led by L.L. Loud, also from the University of California. Following the successful excavation, a second dig was conducted in 1924. The artifacts that were discovered during these two excavations were astounding. In total, around 10,000 archaeological specimens were discovered. After the second excavation, Loud collaborated on a report that was published in 1929, which detailed the incredible findings at Lovelock Cave. Among the findings were woven baskets, clothing fragments, animal hides, food remnants, including seeds, nuts, and bones. Some of the artifacts, such as the finely crafted baskets, indicated a high degree of skill and artistry. The remains of animals such as bighorn sheep, deer, and rabbits were also discovered, as well as evidence of their use as a food source. The findings suggest that the cave was occupied by humans for several thousand years, with different groups making use of it at different times. As per the report, the excavation of Lovelock Cave revealed 60 mummies of average height, as well as duck decoys, which are some of the oldest in the world, with feathers still attached. They also found a sandal that was over 15 inches long. Additionally, they discovered a donut-shaped stone with 365 notches on the outside and 52 corresponding notches on the inside, which some scientists speculate is a calendar. Interestingly, radiocarbon dating done on subsequent visits uncovered vegetable material dating back to 2030 BC, a human femur dating to 1450 BC, human muscle tissue dating to 1420 BC, and basketry dating to 1218 BC. Based on these findings, archaeologists concluded that the human occupation of Lovelock Cave by this culture began in 1500 BC. Today, anthropologists refer to the people who lived in the area during this time as the Lovelock culture, with the period lasting approximately 3,000 years. Many archaeologists believe that the Lovelock culture was eventually replaced by the northern Paiutes. Exploring the Lovelock Giants and their remains. The legends of the Lovelock Giants has been the subject of much debate and scrutiny over the years. According to some reports, during the initial excavations of Lovelock Cave, mummified remains of two red-haired giants were discovered. Allegedly, one of the giants was a female who measured 6.5 feet in height, while the other was a male who stood over 8 feet tall. Sarah Winnemucca Hopkins, in her book Life Among the Paiutes, Their Wrongs and Claims, made no mention of giants, but did refer to so-called barbarians. Critics of the Lovelock Giants theory suggest that the red hair found on the mummified remains could be due to chemical staining by the earth after burial, rather than being an indication of a distinct population of red-haired giants in the region. A study conducted at the University of Nevada supports this skepticism and proposes that the giants were about 6 feet tall instead of the claimed 8 feet tall. However, some still believe that a discovery of the 15-inch sandals at Lovelock Cave is proof that the Paiute legend of giants is genuine. In fact, a newspaper article published in the Nevada Review Minor in 1931 reported the discovery of two very large skeletons in the Humboldt Dry Lake bed near Lovelock, Nevada. According to the article, one of the skeletons measured to be 8.5 feet tall and was wrapped in a gum-covered fabric that resembled Egyptian mummies. The other skeleton was reported to be almost 10 feet long. These findings have added to the mystery and controversy surrounding the existence of Lovelock Giants. Linking the giants of Lovelock Cave with the Huros Indians of South America. There are a few other pieces of evidence that have been used to support the existence of the Lovelock Giants. One of these is a set of images released by Bigfoot investigators M.K. Davis and Don Monroe in 2013. These images show a handprint on a stone boulder in a cave that is more than double the size of a normal human hand, suggesting that it was left by a creature much larger than the average person. In addition to the Lovelock Giants, there has also been claims of giants with reddish hair and elongated skulls found near Lake Titicaca along the Peru-Bolivia border. The legends of this area speak of the Huros Indians, who made reed boats and lived on islands in the lake, similar to the Paiute people. According to these legends, the Incas drove the Huros to live in this way, just as the ancestors of the Paiute people supposedly did to the giants at Lake Lahontan. Although the remains of the Lovelock Giants themselves are no longer available for viewing, many of the artifacts that were found with them can be seen at the Natural History Museum in Winnemucca, Nevada. Some of the objects, such as the duck decoys, are housed in the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C., while others, including the basketry and bones, belong to the Nevada State Museum. Lovelock Cave holds significant importance to the field of archaeology as it validates the legends that the Paiutes had been passing down through the generations. This archaeological site served as evidence to support the tales that Paiute elders had been telling their children for years. In 2005, the Phoebe A. Hearst Museum of Anthropology at the University of California released a publication on the Lovelock Cave that acknowledged its value. The paper read, "The site has been extensively pot-hunted and many materials remain in private collections. Lovelock Cave, despite its years of destruction, is one of the most important sites in the history of North American archaeology. In 1984, Lovelock Cave received the official designation of a historical site." And that's it for today's video. If you learned something new, don't forget to like and subscribe for more contents worth your every minute.